Hey, Greg readers, it's Mrs. Emanuel here, and we are on chapters 33 and 34 of the Tale of Despero. Are you liking the story so far? A lot of feelings, right? I'm worried about Mig, and I'm thinking about P. A lot of thinking. We're reading chapters 33 and 34. Chapter 33 begins on page 166. If you'd like to get your book and join me as we read, that would be awesome. I'll give you a sec to get there. Here we go. Chapter 33, A Rat Who Knows Her Name. Mig had climbed the dungeon stairs and was preparing to open the door to the kitchen when the rat spoke to her. May I detain you for a moment? Mig looked to her left and then to her right. Down here, said Roscuro. Mig looked at the floor. Course, she said, but you're a rat, ain't you? And didn't the old man just warn me of such? Beware the rat, he said. She held the tray up higher so that the light from the candles shone directly on Roscuro and the golden spoon on his head and the blood-red cloak around his neck. There is no need to panic, none at all, said Roscuro. As he talked, he reached behind his back, and using the handle, he raised the soup spoon off his head, much in the manner of a man lifting his hat to a lady. Gore, said Meg, a rat with manners. Yes, said Roscuro. How do you do? My papa had some cloth much like yours, Mr. Rat, said Mig. Red like that. He traded me for it. Ah, said Roscuro, and he smiled a large, knowing smile. Ah, did he really? That is a terrible story, a tragic story. Reader, if you will pardon me, we must pause for a moment to consider a great and unusual thing, a pretentious thing. That great, unusual, pretentious thing is this. Roscuro's voice was pitched perfectly to make its way through the tortuous path of Mig's broken-down, cauliflowered ears. That is to say, dear reader, Miggery Sow heard perfect and true every single word the rat Roscuro uttered. You have known your share of tragedy, said Roscuro to Mig. Perhaps it is time for you to make the acquaintance of triumph and glory. Triumph, said Mig. Glory? Allow me to introduce myself, said Roscuro. I am Chia Roscuro. Friends call me Roscuro. And your name is Miggery Sow. And it is true, is it not, that most people call you Mig? Ain't that the thing, shouted Mig, a rat who knows my name. Miss Miggery, my dear, I do not want to appear too forward so early in our acquaintance. But may I inquire, am I right in ascertaining that you have aspirations? What do you mean, aspirations? Shouted Mig. Miss Miggery, there is no need to shout, none at all. As you can hear me, so I can hear you. We two are perfectly suited, each to the other. Roscuro smiled again, displaying a mouthful of sharp yellow teeth. Aspirations, my dear, are those things that would make a serving girl wish to be a princess. Gore, agreed Meg, a princess is exactly what I want to be. There is, my dear, a way to make that happen. I believe that there is a way to make that dream come true. You mean that I could be the Princess P? Yes, your highness, said Roscuro, and he swept the spoon off his head and bowed deeply at the waist. Yes, your most royal Princess P. Gore, said Meg. May I tell you my plan? May I illustrate for you how we can make your dream of becoming a princess a reality? Yes, said Meg, yes. It begins, said Roscuro, with yours truly and the chewing of rope. Mig held the tray with one small candle burning bright, and she listened as the rat went on speaking directly to the wish in her heart. So passionately did Roscuro speak, and so intently did the serving girl listen, that neither noticed as the napkin on the tray moved, nor did they hear the small mouse-like noises of disbelief and outrage that issued from the napkin as Roscuro went on unfolding, step by step, his diabolical plan to bring the princess to darkness. End of the third book. Oh my goodness, readers. The P in darkness in the dungeon? Yikes. We're now ready for the fourth book. It's called Recalled to the Light. Chapter 34 begins like this. Well, actually, the title is Kill 'em Even If They're Already Dead. Reader, you did not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despero in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Mig, after her conversation with Roscuro, carried the tray into the kitchen. And when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Miggery Sow, back from the deep downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook, "and ain't we all relieved?" Mig put the tray on the counter. "Here, here," said Cook. "Your duties ain't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" shouted Mig. "You must clear the tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took hold of the napkin and gave it a good shake. And Despero tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly, plop, in a measuring cup full of oil. "Ah," said the cook, "a mouse in my kitchen and my cooking oil in my measuring cup. You, Mig, kill him directly." Mig bent her head and looked at the mouse slowly sinking into the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little Missy," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Despero, gasping and coughing and blinking at the bright light, could have wept with joy at his rescue. But he was not given time to cry. "Kill him!" shouted Cook. "Gore," said Mig. "All right." Holding Despero by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife. But the mouse tail, covered as it was in oil, was slick and difficult to hold onto. And Mig, in reaching for the knife, loosened her grip, and Despero fell to the floor. Mig looked down at the little bundle of brown fur. "Gore," she said. "That killed him for sure." "Kill him even if he's already dead," shouted the cook. "That's my philosophy with mice. If they're alive, kill them. If they're dead, kill them. That way you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." "That's some good philosophy. That is, kill them even if they're already dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower-eared fool," shouted Cook. "Hurry." Despero lifted his head from the floor. The afternoon sun was shining through the large kitchen window. He had time to think about how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared, and Mig's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little Missy," she said, "ain't you going to skedaddle?" Despero looked for a long moment into Mig's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and the sound of metal moving through air as Mig brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. Despero felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leaped up and into action. Readers, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left and he zagged to the right. "Gore!" shouted Mig. "Missed him." "Ain't that a surprise?" said Cook, just as Despero scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got the little Missy's tail, though," said Mig. She bent over and picked up Despero's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to Cook. So? Shouted Cook. What good will that do us when the rest of him has disappeared into the pantry? I don't know, said Mig, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. I don't know. That ends chapter 34. Keep reading, Gators. It's getting really good. Have a great night.